What do you say, baseball fans? Rye Bread talking baseball, episode 74. Rays get walked off again last night. It's a heartbreaker. But good news abounds. We're pushing back our grading cards episode by a day so that we can talk about the Wander Franco call-up. I'm a little bit pumped about it. As you can see, I'm going full Tampa Bay today. Wander's batting .315, OBP .367, slugging .586 in Durham. It's time. We're ready. It's a slump. Let's get a spark. But it creates a roster crunch. All right, so I've outlined a couple of cards that this guy did not get the call, and we're still waiting on Brujan. It's another dynamic player that the Rays still have to call up. And what's happening is at the top, we've got a real log jam. Because these two guys can help you in the pitching department. You got Patino here and you got Baz. Both these guys can help. And then, of course, the belle of the ball. This Bowman prospect Wander Franco is pretty tasty. And then this is a card that I just haven't seen that much of. This is Panini. Sweet little Wander. Look at that. That's pretty tight. So the roster crunch is on. So we've talked about it a little bit on the show in relation to Kiermaier. Is it that much of a downgrade to have Phillips out there? At this point, I don't think that it is. I think that to create the space on the roster and get a lot of value, because Kiermaier's contract is friendly, I think that that's the play. They're going to have to make some moves here to make room, and I don't think they're going to do anything with Lau, despite the fact that his batting average is so low. He's starting to hit for power at least. But the Rays as a team are batting .229 here over this stretch, and it's the reason why they've lost so many games in a row. And, of course, it's just plain unlucky to get walked off 4 or 5 times or whatever it is at now. I mean, we get walked off every night, it seems. So the Rays just had a little correction coming. They won a bunch of games. It's still right there for them. And then they get to go to Boston and make it right. Because if they handle Boston, it's all is forgotten and the Rays are back in first place. Or at least if they win the series, I think it'll be a half game. But the Red Sox and the Rays are going to be battling this one all the way through. So this is just kind of another round. And there's some payback coming because the Boston and Seattle are now the only teams that have swept the Rays. And it looks like right now the Rays need to return the favor. So another matchup that I want to highlight for tonight. You've got Civale at Alzolay. This is our Civale base and also the chrome. This is the chrome. That's why it's in the top loader. Gotta do something about those blinds. Look at that, Civale. Gorgeous. Gorgeous card. Look at that. And that's the base. We really like Aaron Civale. We've bet him a couple times. I'm still here in Florida and can't get my bets back up. So I got to figure something out. Going to go offline. These Alzolays, I mean, they're autoed. Nobody knew who this guy was because his name is so ridiculous. Adbert. Ridiculous. How do I call a guy's name ridiculous? I'm such a jerk. But the dude who posted this on eBay had Adbert Alzolay in the title. So there weren't so many bids on it, and I got it for like $8. It's a nice looking auto. So we'll take it. The other pitching matchup for today I wanted to look at. You've got deGrom doing deGrom things. This is a new deGrom. We've told you a bunch of things about deGrom here. We've had a bunch of cards about deGrom here. We're hoping for him to win the Cy Young. We've got all those actually squirreled away because I'm getting them rated, my deGroms, so that I can get ahead of the game if he does win the Cy Young. So this guy was pitching so well at the end of last year, and he's coming into form now. There's a lot of good left to come, I think, from Ian Anderson. If you saw him go last year, man, he's tough. This is the Diamond Kings. These Diamond King cards are pretty. I like the layout. I don't know if they're going to be as marketable. You don't get a huge price for them, but frankly, you don't see a lot of rated because they're kind of newer. But I think you got to go with the Mets here, it's hard to go against deGrom. If you've watched the guy go, it's just, he's on a different level. Jacob deGrom's on a different level than everybody else right now as far as that goes. And speaking of different level, I got into what I guess you would call a Twitter thing. I don't know how that goes. I'm too old for that. About this guy, Mr. Majestic. If you've ever watched this show, you are fully aware of my opinion about Shohei. Shohei is the best baseball player on the planet. Without a doubt, I don't think there's an argument even. He does so many things well that he's the best baseball player. Shohei Ohtani is the best baseball player in the world. And I don't think there's much of an argument, man. But it came up on Twitter about MVP and Vlad. If Vlad wins the Triple Crown, he's going to be the MVP. That's just how it works. If you bat 400... or you win the Triple Crown. If this guy wins the Triple Crown, you're looking at the MVP. Baseball royalty, second generation, that's less to do with it. But you just have to look at the last Triple Crown, which was Cabrera. The slow-footed first baseman wins the Triple Crown, and he beats out Mike Trout, the center fielder phenom, who was having a fantastic year and probably deserved the MVP. But because of the Triple Crown, Cabrera won it. And that's the most recent example. And I know that the Shohei Trout thing is not exactly the same because Shohei's got so much pitching ability, but when it comes down to it, the 30 writers who are going to vote on this, that's right, the 30 old guy writers that are going to vote on this, if there's a Triple Crown winner, it takes them off the hook. Because it's such a tight call anyway. MVP and best player are not the same thing, and it seems like I was talking to a brick wall on Twitter last night. Everybody's attacking me that I don't understand baseball because Shohei's the MVP, when all I do on the show is talk about how Shohei's the best player in the league. And then in the thread, I'm talking about how good Shohei is, how he's the premier talent, he's the better player. You just can't, once people start regurgitating what they've heard from other people, they don't listen to the argument. They just keep running their mouth. I don't know. It was gross. I was like talking to third graders, and then finally when it came around, I started to get a little bit of traction. But my God, it shouldn't be that hard to figure out. The MVP doesn't go to the best player. Otherwise, Michael, LeBron, they'd have a mantle full of them. They didn't win it every year, even though they were the best. And it's the same in all sports. It's not the best player who wins. And if you take a Triple Crown, you're going to get the MVP. It's not like a slight. This scumbag, this bum took home the MVP with a Triple Crown year. It's like, get off my lawn. All right, enough about that, because I got a little worked up about it on a Father's Day. These are the Home Run Derby cards that we have now collected. All right, it's getting out of hand. Now, if we can just figure out how to get these things loaded, all right? So I've got 2 Lindors. Put it in the comments if you think you can help me win one. Eloy's not going to do one. This guy might hit a bomb, and then the other just do it any night and give yourself a shot. The Tatis and the Guerrero Jr. for the home run challenge is just amazing. Those are the 2 that you want. And then there you go, Freddie, Giancarlo, and then that other Lindor. The Series 2 Lindor has him in the Mets, and the Series 1 Lindor has him in the Tribe jersey. So for the cards, we're going to keep implementing this more and more into the show. We're going to close it out today. I want to show you something. I got this lot of Taylor Walls cards, knowing full well that Wander was going to come up soon. I don't know if they're showcasing this guy, but I just think he's a player. I've got a stack of Bowman Chrome Taylor Walls. I'm going to hang on to it. Whether he gets sent down or not coming up here, I don't give a damn. It's going to be, he's a player. Which is why when I got this thing for $38, it's a PSA 10, Gem Mint PSA 10, Bowman First, Taylor Walls Auto. So even if he does get sent down, I'm not afraid to pay $30 for something that costs $230 to get rated. So we're going to move forward on that. You can stick with me on the cards. Hopefully we can start doing some breaks on the show, start incorporating them a little bit more. And if you want to get at me on Twitter, at RyeBread0844, I'm always down to talk a little baseball. Ray's off today. Short slate. That Ian Anderson at deGrom's going to be a beauty. Aaron Civale at Adbert Alzolay is another one we like. But we're not doing any bets now because we don't have the access, being that we are in FLA and it's not legal to bet Barstool here for some reason. I don't know what it is. But we'll be back again tomorrow. We're going to talk more about the grading again tomorrow. We pushed it back because of the Wander call-up. Get at me on Twitter. Like I said, we'll be out at Fishtails of Homosassa this week for a remote. And then hopefully coming up soon here, we'll be out there at Bascom's Chop House to see you for some great steak, great wine. Trying to talk my boy into doing a card breakout there. Have a little fun with it. Why not? And then, of course, you're going to Philippines. Don't forget, Bravo Beach Resort, Siargao Island, Philippines. Pirate Castle, Siargao Island, Philippines. Awesome places to hang out. We'll see you again tomorrow. You know we're going to do 162.